happy full moon in Libra, and also happy men that are super sweet, because I know that there are a few men who tune into what I do. Yeah, happy full moon in Libra, and happy partial lunar eclipse. So in this video, we're going to be actually going through a guided meditation together to connect in with the energy of the full moon in Libra, as well as we're going to be talking a little bit about what it means, what this time is all about, and how it affects our lives directly and as a collective. So let's get into it. All right, so the full moon in Libra, I actually don't really want to spend too much time talking about like the astrology of it and kind of like that kind of zone. I actually just want to share a personal story with you that might help you to understand how we can work with these times, okay? So we just had the total solar eclipse, super big one, and a new moon and a super moon, new moon in Pisces a couple of weeks ago, right? And we've gone through this eclipse portal, as a lot of us call it, which is this really transformative kind of window of opportunity and shifts that happens between the two eclipses in the spring and in the fall. And now we're actually ending the eclipse portal with this lunar eclipse, and we're kind of launching into this new springtime for this those of us in the northern hemisphere, or the fall in the southern hemisphere, okay? And with these eclipses, okay, eclipses are super powerful. New moons are super powerful. Full moons are super powerful, okay? And you mix them all together, you get a lot of power. What happens during these times, especially with what we've just gone through, with this deluge of Pisces energy, okay, is a lot of our stuff is coming up, okay? Old wounds, childhood wounds, old karma, karmic patterns. A lot of this stuff has come up for us quite strongly in the last couple of weeks. There's might be some of you that have sort of like escaped that intensity of the energy for whatever reason, but probably for most of you watching, if you think back in the last couple weeks, even the last like 3 to 4 weeks, because the eclipse energy actually starts to kick in before the eclipse even happens, you'll probably notice there was either a heightened emotion, there was maybe some anger that came up, maybe there was some depression that came up, maybe you got sick, holla. And there was just kind of this like overall detoxing effect that is happening. And for many of us, it's probably still happening in some way. So I want to share a personal story with you about how we can actually deal with this energy before we get into the meditation, all right? So since I was like 12, 13, 14 in my life, I experienced mild depression, and I didn't even really understand that that's what it was at all, okay, until probably like a year and a half ago, that I was comfortable with actually putting a name to it and just honoring and owning, like, yes, I was mildly depressed. And it would kind of like, I'm a super bubbly, pretty happy person, and a lot of people like see that in me. They see this positivity and this happiness and this bubbliness, but I'm also a super deep feeler, and there's some stuff inside of me that's really deep that not a lot of people can actually see. And the depression, that's where that lives. So people didn't understand, but I did have this sort of like, this like darkness, or this like, just this, it was like a heaviness right in my belly that I just carried around so often with me. And even if I was having like a great time in life, a lot of the time there'd actually be just like this energy there that kind of held me back from being like fully embodied in that happiness that I wanted to be in. And then, of course, through my spiritual process, I started working with that and owning it, and my mother kind of helped me to understand that that's what was going on, and she's a healer herself. And I went to Bali last year, in January of last year, and I was teaching actually at this awesome retreat. It's called the Revive and Thrive Retreat, and it was all about this detoxing experience where we were doing juice fasting and a lot of different activities and exercises that help to, you know, bring up our stuff, release it, and heal, right? And I remember during this retreat and in Bali, you think when you go traveling, right, you're like, oh, it's going to be so amazing and I'm going to be happy and whatever. But what was happening was like, obviously I'm at this detoxing retreat, this stuff was coming out, and I felt this. Well, what happened to me is, like, the mild depression would just kind of be there, and it'd be fine, but then sometimes in my life it would come up and then just kind of overtake me for a little bit, and then I'd kind of get out of it. So in Bali, I felt it start to come up, and I remember talking right by the pool to a couple of the other teachers at the retreat, and I said, like, I'm scared right now because I feel this coming up. And when you're in those places, anybody who has familiarity with depression knows that when it overtakes you, it's hard to kind of see clearly and actually to be able to move out of it. So I felt it coming up, and I was like, I'm scared. I was talking to them, I'm scared. I don't know how long I'm going to have to be in this, but I feel it coming. All right. I left the retreat and I went backpacking for a few more weeks after that, just to experience Bali. And I had ups and downs, but I did have, like, some intense times where I was, like, crying. I remember I was, like, staying at this cabin by myself, and I just was, like, crying like crazy this one night, just, like, really feeling what was happening and letting it all go. And then one of the owners of the place, like, came to my door, like, the next morning. They're like, we heard you were crying last night. What was happening? And it was, like, so funny because Indonesia, they're just, like, so full on, right? Like, in Canada, they'd be like, no, we're going to pretend that didn't happen, like, but super in my face. And I was like, what? Anyways, side note. Okay, basically what happened, though, is by the end of the trip, I actually got super physically sick. And the night that I got really sick before it happened, there was this tarantula, like, this big in my room, and I was like, ugh, and I managed to get it out. And then that night I started puking, I started doing some other stuff, like, through all the things that could happen, and just releasing, got super sick, and actually had to go home about a week early just because I could not get better at that point. Okay, so that's what happened to me last year. So there was the depression that came up, there was the sickness, and I was really in it. So if we can't see the big picture, which most of the time we can't in the way that we operate, I'd be like, what the fuck's happening in my life? I'm doing all this spiritual work and it's backfiring and shit's getting worse and all that. That's if I was super zoned in on it, right? But actually, when I got back from that trip, the depression lifted, all right? Like, it lifted, and for a year, I didn't even, like, experience basically any of that feeling that I had been carrying around for at least a dozen years, okay? I was super creative, I had a lot of energy, and I just felt happy about life, and this kind of cycle lasted for quite some time, okay? So then when we go out a little bit, and I can see a little bit of the bigger picture, that being sick and not allowing the depression to come, and my kind of approach at that time was just to be with it, just to breathe into it, just to let it happen, to cry those tears, to spend that time alone instead of, you know, partying with travelers, so I could just really feel what was going on. And eventually, in the big picture, it actually lifted, it released, it cleared, and it healed, and, like, this new window opened up, and I, you know, came back and I met new friends, and it was, like, this really awesome experience, okay? So let's bring it back to right now, because over the last couple weeks, many of you have probably experienced things coming up like that, depression coming up, anger coming up, irritation coming up. For those of you, some people might not have experienced that, but for many of us over the last 2 to 4 weeks, we've probably had this surge of stuff coming up because of the eclipses, even because of this transition from seasons, you know, bringing stuff up. It is our sort of job to be present with this stuff that's coming up, okay? In the last couple of weeks, I've experienced a little hints of that depression that I haven't felt for a year, in a much lesser way. It's like I have, like, different layers now that I'm peeling off of. And it's our job, and it's our duty, and it's our call to actually be really present with these feelings and not try to run away from them and pretend like we're not feeling that way. If we can sit in meditation with these feelings, if we can breathe into these feelings, if we can allow them to be, if we can listen to our bodies, and when it's time to rest, we rest. If it's time to run, we run. If it's time to eat, we eat. Just being really present and listening in. Eventually what's going to happen is the clouds are going to clear, the energy is actually going to be released, okay? When we bring our awareness into the fear, into the depression, into the anger, whatever it is, our awareness is like light energy. As souls, we're so bright and we're healing. Our very nature is healing. So when we bring the awareness, which is like our soul awareness or our essence, into a body of pain, we actually start to disintegrate it, right? We're bringing the light to that kind of shadow, like clumpy area, and we're actually disintegrating it. Every breath that we spend with it, every time that we're just like, okay, I'm just gonna do this, you know, we're actually healing it on a deep level. So we do have the option of ignoring it and be like, oh, that's not happening, I'm going to affirm it away, and it's kind of like treading water, and we're just trying to keep ourselves afloat. Or what we can do is we can actually sink down, go below the water, go below the surface, and really vibrate in and just bring the awareness into what we're feeling. And that is going to be able to be what's going to be clearing it. But we have to be brave enough in order to do that, and we have to actually have faith that this process is working. Because going back to Bali, if I was like, no, I'm traveling, I gotta be happy, I just gotta be happy, I'm not gonna deal with this, and I just like didn't pay attention to it, I would have lost the opportunity to have cleared a deeply embedded, you know, part of my shadow or fear that I was carrying, and who knows what the next few months would have been like. But instead, I was with it. I was with it, and I said, I'm gonna do this process. I'm gonna do this cycle. I'm gonna be here. And then it actually helped to clear something that was very strong in my being for a long time, okay? So that's the prelude to our guided meditation. Be with your pain. Be with your pain. Don't listen to that, you know, voice that says, no, you need to get happy. No, you need to affirm it away. No, just get busy. You shouldn't be here. This is in a fearful place. It's not good. Let the monkey mind go. And just be with it. Be with the suffering. Be with the pain. Breathe into it. And in that way, you will clear it. It's a magical spiritual transformation, but that is how it works. That is how it works, okay? So, yeah, let's get into this, this guided meditation here that we're going to do. And we're actually going to be receiving guidance from the full moon in Libra. We're going to be opening ourselves at this time to any additional information that's going to come in, right? The information that I get about this full moon and this eclipse is it's going to vary greatly how it affects us. In some videos, I can talk about the general energy. I could talk a little bit about the general energy of this full moon, but what my guidance is saying is it's actually going to be very different for a lot of us. So let's go in, let's tune into the inner guidance. And in that way, we're going to get feedback that's going to be perfect for us at where we are at this time. Okay, so close your eyes with me and start to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, or in a better way that works for you. And allow your breath to release any tension that you're carrying right now. Maybe you have thoughts coming in. Maybe you had a hard day at work or stuff on your mind or whatever it is. In this moment, just allow all of that to go so we can be present for this meditation. Using your exhale to release on a deeper level and allow yourself to become more and more in your body. On the next inhale, breathe a glowing yellow gold light into your system. Allow this yellow gold light to permeate your lungs, your cells, your blood, and on the exhale, release. Now allow this light to shift to a silver light, and see this silver light coming above your head and through your crown chakra, so the top of your head. And allow this silver light to enter your forehead, your third eye, your throat, coming down your shoulders and your heart space, your arms, and down right to your hips, through your legs, and into the earth. Now I want you to see yourself on top of a mountain. And it's dark. It's nighttime on this mountain top. Maybe it's a snowy mountain, maybe it's a red mountain, whatever comes to you is perfect. Allow yourself to be present on this mountaintop, and as you look out, you can see incredibly far around you. You can see this range of mountains out around you. Maybe you can see the ocean or other hills, or whatever you see is perfect. Just allow yourself to observe what's coming up in this vision. And right above you, you can see the beautiful full moon in all of its glory. Right in the sky. Allow yourself to just observe this full moon and vibrate with it. On the next inhale, breathe in the light of the full moon into your body. So that silvery light is coming back. Allow yourself to breathe that light into your body. And breathing it into any parts of your body that are storing that irritation or sadness that we just talked about. Actually allowing yourself to be really present with whatever emotions you're experiencing. And if you're feeling happy and that's all you've got, then breathe into the happiness. That's great. Breathing that silvery light of the full moon into your body. On the next inhale, ask, full moon in Libra, what would you have me hear right now? Full moon in Libra, what would you have me hear right now? Allow the moonlight to enter you. Open you up. And again, we ask, full moon in Libra, what would you have me hear now? In this way of asking, we're not actually looking for answers directly right away. They might come. They might come through the form of thoughts or a vision. But what we're actually more interested in is simply asking the question so that guidance can come through our subconscious mind. And this guidance will live and breathe within us. So whether you get anything directly or you don't, it doesn't matter. Because once we ask, there's always an answer given. And vibrate on this mountaintop, just allowing maybe a sense of peace or expansion to permeate, breathing into whatever you're feeling right now. And on the exhale, release. Thank you, full moon in Libra, for guiding us. Thank you, spirit guides, angels, and our spirit animals for being with us now. For guiding us strongly, for giving us guidance and information that we can easily understand. And thank you for blessing this next turn of the wheel as we enter spring or fall and have the opportunity to create new stories for ourselves and go deeper. Thank you. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Awesome. So, yeah, that's it. That was the meditation. Whatever you felt, whatever you're feeling is always perfect. Like for me, right now, I woke up, I woke up with some irritation this morning and it came up in that meditation. So that's perfect. Meditation is not meant to just like be this zone where we're, just supposed to be peaceful all the time. It's a process of releasing what's blocking us from really being in our truths. So we're gonna like we just talked about, right, in that start of the video. We're gonna have to go through unpeeling the layers, going through what's preventing us from being in our truths, and then yes, we'll get to that place of peace. But we're very much on that human journey, so let's just honor whatever is coming up for us right now. If you want to connect with me, Further, if you want to make sure that you're getting the next new moon video, and if you want free coaching, guidance, and a beautiful community of awesome women who are super stoked on supporting each other, then please join my Angel Coaching with Beth Katherine group. You can find the link to that right in this post above here. Just request to join. It's a private group for lady lightworkers. And we have a lot of fun, and there's, a lot of amazing content that happens in there. So please, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to join. Much love, many blessings, and however you're feeling on this beautiful full moon in Libra with this powerful eclipse, may you honor it, may you feel it, may you allow it to be, because this is all a journey. So we can just let it flow, not get too attached to what's happening in the moment, just let it flow. All right, much love, sisters, and I'll see you soon.